Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Psychic Training Ground, the most encouraging, supportive, uplifting place to be. This place is for students, teachers, trainees, and professionals who wish to help those who wish to help themselves.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're calling from. And you're listening to the Psychic Training Ground. And welcome. First of all, thank you for everyone for listening. And a big thank you to everyone who was involved in our first show last night. It was so incredibly busy. Apologies if we didn't get through to you. We had so many readings and so many callers to get through to. So hopefully we'll be able to arrange another show later in the week. Okay, so today we are talking about something different. We're going to be covering the law of attraction, which most of you might be familiar with watching The Secret, or if any of you guys know Abraham Hicks. They're wonderful teachers. And today we'll have a wonderful panel of experts and very good friends of mine talking about the law of attraction and how it's changed their lives. For the first part of the show, we'll be talking about the very basics, the theory behind the law of attraction. And then for the second part, we'll be talking about the processes that you can apply to help improve your life and create that which you want in your life. So I hope you're looking forward to a great show. I'll just bring on our first guest, Nadira.
Hi there.
Hi there, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Still getting to grips with it all, I have to say.
Okay.
So, if we begin, first of all, what is the law of attraction in your eyes? How's it applied in your life? How does it work for you?
Okay, the law of attraction in my eyes is like attracts like. For me, the things that I not only think about, but the things that I have come to believe, I've realized that they do actually manifest in my life. They come to realization. They come to fruition, and it's not just a and from watching The Secret and things like that, I've learned that yes, it's thought that creates your reality, but it's more than thought. It's the feeling that comes with that thought.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, and just give us some background. How did you enter into this field, and how has it helped improve your life?
Well, I saw The Secret, and I was just extremely fascinated because all my life I grew up going to very denominational, very strict schools and churches, and I was just thought you're either good or bad, and you have to follow these strict guidelines. And I saw The Secret, and it really got me thinking, some of the things that they were saying within there really made sense, and I was able to look back at my life and realize things fell into place when I did have a positive attitude towards it. So I did, have the confidence to know that that's probably, so that I was happy and centered, and things came to me easily. After watching The Secret, I wanted more because I've never consciously thought of anything like that in that way. So I wanted more, and I came across some Abraham Hicks clips on YouTube, and I could not get enough. And it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing journey from then to now. I often think back, and I think I would not recognize myself.
Yeah.
Back then, it's been an amazing journey. It's been one good thing, great thing after the next. But it's been a learning process as well, but it's been really good.
That's great. So how's that had an impact on your life now, looking back to how many years ago before you knew about this and to now, you're living your life?
Looking back, I take responsibility now for my life. I don't depend on, I don't say it's this person's fault I didn't get this right job, or that person is not doing X in order to make me happy. I realize that my happiness comes from within me, and I'm the one that creates my life. I'm the one that could look at things in a positive or negative way and bring more of it to me. I've realized that everything, whether good or bad, is an experience. Is an experience to learn from, to grow from, to expand. And I just know now there's a deep sense of knowing within me that everything is working out in perfect timing and everything is working out as it should be. I've got to realize there's no sort of worry. There's hardly any worry in my life anymore, because I just know that no matter wherever I am, I could change what's happening if it's something that I don't like. I just always know how to feel a little better about it. Abraham Hicks has this concept called the emotional guidance scale that talks about moving up from depression to anger to frustration and fear and so on. And that's really, really helped me. That's made me realize that it's okay to be angry. You know, because sometimes being angry is empowering from if I was depressed previously. You know.
Yeah, that's very wise words. Yeah.
So it has helped me in every single situation, every day. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it has become a way of living, hasn't it?
It has.
Knowing what we know now.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just cover the basics, just to give a little information about me, is that I was involved, I read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway a number of years ago, and that helped me change my life. It taught me that fear is just the thought. And that was a good maybe 10 to 12 years ago. And then the past couple of years, I've come across Louise Hay. She's a very powerful author. She's very much your thoughts and your words create your life. And from then on, I saw a compilation video of hers, You Can Heal Your Life. And then I saw Abraham Hicks' video, and I saw their interview, and that kind of piqued my interest. And then I looked them up on YouTube, and I was just blown away by how loving they were. It's absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And then from then on, I went to, I listened to all their clips, I read all their books, and I went to see them on a Mexican cruise. And then when I got back, I found out there was a group in London, and that's how all of us have met. And then from there, what made the difference was applying the processes that we'll speak about in the latter part of the show. It really is the diligence and commitment to consciousness that really makes a shift in the life. And now everything's going so great. And even if it doesn't, at least you're conscious of it, and you're able to work it into a better place at some point when you're ready. And that's what I love about this work.
Yep,
okay.
I completely agree with you there.
Cool. So for all our listeners, if you're familiar with The Secret or Abraham Hicks, that's great. We're just going to cover a very basic breakdown of the concept, because a lot of it people think, okay, well, I'm thinking positive, I'm writing my list, but I'm not seeing any change, or I've watched The Secret and, you know, that's kind of nice, but I don't really believe it. This show, my intention for this show is just to create a base of knowledge, a dictionary, if you will, so that you can just listen in and hear these concepts and piece it all together. And once you've got a great foundation of knowledge, then that's when you can think, oh, this is how it's applying itself, so to speak, in my life. So what is the law of attraction? The law of attraction, in essence, is that which is like unto itself is drawn. In other words, like attracts like. That's a basic premise, kind of positive thinking, if you will, in its kind of basic form. And it is very much think positive and get good things, think not so great things and get not so great things. But at the base of all that, it's all okay. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, it's perfect. And that's what a lot of people actually tend to miss out on, because they think, okay, I'm going to think, if I think this way or think that way, then I'm going to get this. And whilst that is true, that's not all over the picture. It is very much live your life. You are perfect as you are. Once you can accept that, then you can move forward with your life, and it's taking that power back. So what you think and what you feel and what manifests, all three of those are a vibrational match to what comes into your life. So it's very much working your thoughts and your feelings, because your feelings are a very important part of this process. It's not just your thoughts, because a lot of people offer affirmations, but affirmations don't always shift emotion, and that's why you might not see the physical change in front of you.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. So you are non-physical energy, and then you come into this physical experience as different points of consciousness to experience this life, and when that time is up for whatever reason, you croak or die or pass or move on or whatever you want to call it, and rejoin the non-physical happy energy. That's kind of the premise behind this. So it's all okay.
I love what I've learned. I've loved the concept of there is no source of negativity. There is no source of negative energy. It's the negative thoughts and beliefs that we have that push the positivity or the good things down. Does that make sense? I probably didn't mean that.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And let's have a look. And resistance. Resistance is that feeling in your gut that feels a little bit heavy when someone says, "Oh, I want £1 million, but I don't think I can get it." The negative thoughts and that's what you call resistance, is the blocks. And all our work is release the resistance, and that's all it is. Okay, Nadira. So we're just going to cover the basic terms that you might hear. So if you want to start off telling us your interpretation of the 3-step process.
The 3-step process.
Yeah,
ask, believe, and receive. Okay. Yeah. Well, the concept of asking, believing, and receiving. Asking is when we live through living our lives. There are things that we decide that we want or we don't want. And in living our lives, Nick, you could help me out there. In living our lives, there are things that we decide that we want, and that is the asking, basically. So just by living, we ask.
Exactly. Yeah? That's so spot on. And so that's step one. Step one is ask. You can't help but ask. People sometimes get a little confused and think, well, I'm writing my list, so that's asking. That's not part of the asking. By the living of life and going through the experiences, you're automatically asking, and you can't help but do that every minute of every day of every experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Step two is, depending on which version you know, it's either believe or answer. The universe lines up the answer. So you're going through experience, I don't have enough money, or I don't have my partner. Step two, the universe creates it vibrationally. You might have heard of the terms your vortex or your vibrational escrow. They both refer to the non-physical creation that you've given birth to as part of step one. So that's why when they say your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your money or your car, they're all waiting for you. That's what they mean.
Yeah.
And step three is to receive or to allow it in. And that's all our work. Step one is done automatically. Step two, done automatically, the universe answers. And step three, that is our work. It's to be in a receptional, a vibrational place to receive our goodies. And how you do that is you feel good. It really is that simple.
It's becoming a vibrational match to whatever it says that you asked for in the first place. And it's in order to become a vibrational match to that. That's the thing. Everything that we ask for, we believe that we only ask for it. We only want it because we believe that in having it, we will feel better. So if we could find that feeling place of, as you said, feeling good, feeling better, all the things that we've already asked for has already been created. It's already in our vortex waiting on us. And when we bring ourselves, when we raise our vibration up to the level of feeling good, of feeling that way that we will feel when we have that thing, then that's when that thing comes so easily. I've had it so many instances in my own life. You know, you've asked for something 2 days ago, and all of a sudden you're having dinner with friends, you're laughing, you're having nice dessert, and all of a sudden that thing that you asked for 2 days ago, and as you said, asking just by living life, that thing that you thought about 2 days ago just appears.
Exactly,
that
is
so
not
true. Even in your mind anymore.
Could you speak about contrast, and what does contrast mean to you, or step one as some call it?
Okay, well, Abraham Hicks talks about contrast. It's mostly it's the things that living life causes you to want. So a lot of people think of contrast as a place of not having something that they want, or a situation in which they decide, I don't like how this is, but I'm coming from not liking how this is, they decide this is what I want. So you're in an example, you're on a bus, someone's rude to you, so that's your contrast. The person is rude to you, you don't like how that made you feel. Immediately from living that contrast, you decide you want to have good experiences on the bus and on the train and at work and wherever you are. So you put that into your vortex. And how do you experience that? By feeling good, by appreciating the little good things in your life, the little good experiences that you've had. The guy giving out the metro was really nice to you that morning. He gave you a nice smile. If you appreciate that and focus on that, then from the contrast that you've experienced on that bus, you've then shifted your energy towards focusing on the good things. You'd get more of that coming to you.
Exactly, very well put. And that's the thing with contrast, because and it brings me back to the point I had earlier. Sometimes people think, oh, if I think negative, I'll get bad things, and I shouldn't think negative. But it's all okay, because technically the worse it is in your contrast, the more you have, and when you get there, the better it will be for you.
Yeah.
You know, all the top people at the top of their game have had some kind of contrast. If you look into their childhoods, they had such so-called painful experiences. But when you get out of it, then what's waiting for you is so much bigger and so much brighter.
Yes. Yeah. Completely.
Okay, so everything that comes to you, and people don't necessarily always like to hear this, is a vibrational match. And what that means is it's not a necessarily physical match, it's a vibrational match. So somebody might say, I want some more money, and then they get a nice birthday card. So they think, well, how did that relate? Or sometimes somebody might think, they might think, oh, I'm going to be late, and then they hurt their hand. What we mean by vibrational match is the vibrational essence of it. So what is the essence of abundance? It's a feeling of security. It's a feeling of well-being. What's the vibrational essence of late? It's being held up, being delayed, having things stuck in your way. So that's why people can't always put the link together between what happens and what they're thinking. So it's paying attention to the vibrational match and the feelings, and that's what we have to bring it down towards. Your feelings, your emotions, they are your non-physical link to what works and what doesn't work. So that's why I cannot stress the importance of paying attention to your feelings. That really is the precursor to manifestation. If you were able to catch a negative or positive emotion in its embryonic stage, by the time it were to become physically manifest, you would have caught it before then. So that's why I really pay attention to how you feel whenever you think a thought, whenever you're in a situation. You don't have to deal with it in that particular minute, but if it's something that you think, okay, well, that felt a little funny, that didn't feel good, I'll come back to that later. And that's why it's all a vibrational match.
Yeah.
Completely. And when you know that,
completely agree. And that ties in well with Abraham Hicks' emotional guidance scale. You know, listening
whilst
to your...
we're here, do you want to talk us through the emotional guidance scale? I know this is a speciality of yours.
Is it really? Abraham talks about the emotional guidance scale starting from the bottom with a feeling of grief and depression and despair and powerlessness. And they said, recognize where you are, just as you said, to really understand the importance of realizing how you're feeling in that moment in time, and then just try to lean a little bit to feel better. You don't have to take any quantum leaps to move from depression to appreciation and joy, because sometimes it's just not possible. Hello? Yeah, sometimes it's just not possible, and other times that huge quantum leap probably just lasts for a minute. But they talk about leaning a bit, and just feeling a little bit better. So from depression and despair, sometimes just blaming someone or being angry. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had an experience of you're being depressed about something, but you complain to a friend about it and get really angry and stamp your feet? Don't you feel a little more powerful Doesn't that...
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, that although I don't want to stay in that angry state or that revenge state for too long, it does make me feel better from depression. I do feel a little more powerful. And from that anger and, blame, you just have to lean again to feeling a little bit better. And sometimes feeling a little bit better may be moving towards worry or doubt or disappointment, or even feeling frustrated or feeling pessimistic. But it feels better than being angry. It's a less negative, if you want. So we leaned from depression and anger and revenge to a little bit of doubt or pessimism. And from that pessimism, you start almost feeling, if you could move pessimism to hopefulness and to optimism, that feeling is amazing. The feeling of moving pessimism to optimism, or having a little positive expectation, and then finally to joy and appreciation and eagerness and enthusiasm about the outcome. But I have not found in my own life experience, and my friends and people that I know that work with the law, that understand the law of attraction, they try to move in little steps. They just lean a little bit from depression to then feeling anger, and they move up the scale rather than trying to have quantum leaps.
And that's what I love about this body of work. It's not because people think, I have to be happy all the time and I can't be sad. I'm going to get really bad things if I'm sad. But it's all okay if you start to...
it's all about feeling a little better from wherever you are.
Exactly, and then you get a lovely overview of the scale, because how it works is depression is your most powerless state. You feel no power, you feel at your worst. And then what they say to get to anger, because anger, if you can blame someone else just for that time you're in depression, it gives you your power back, because you're saying, it's not my fault anymore, it's that person's fault. And once you've gone up to there, you can start working into a little bit of less negative emotion. And then once you're at the vibration of hopeful, I'm hopeful I might get that job. I'm hopeful I could get a good amount of money. Once you're in hope, then the vortex or your escrow or whatever, it begins to sweep you in, and then you have easier access to joy, because you can't be expected to go from depression to joy. And that's where a lot of people can get this theory a bit mixed up, and they think, I can't be happy all the time. It's impossible. And then,
you're not
then they
expected
feel worse.
to be happy all the time. Then there'll be no contrast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that's, actually, while we're here, we'll say hello to all our people in the chat room. Hello, Ariel Skies, Anthony, Eros, a couple of guests, Ishara, one-of-a-kind Paisley. And Ariel Skies hits the point. Depression is repressed anger. It's anger, but it's taken upon oneself. And that's when it starts to get a little bit heavy. And once you can take it off yourself, just work yourself bit by bit by bit, up until appreciation and joy, and that kind of is the work. And you'll start to feel that in your belly, where you might have felt a little bit heavy or a little bit sick. That's resistance lifting from you. Yes.
And there's so many beautiful, little, playful processes that many law of attraction teachers have offered us that I found very useful in my life, just for little day-to-day things that I found just, it's completely transformed my life, and they're just tiny little things to help us think or feel a little better from what we're feeling now.
Exactly. And again, just to bring it back down to the basics, it's about your power. You create your own reality. That's what a number of teachers have been saying over the time, and that's very empowering, because you get to choose. You get to choose what you do, how your life goes. You know, a lot of the time I hear, that must have been my lesson. What was my lesson in this? And when you use that kind of terminology, you're almost saying somebody exerted force in my experience, and God or whoever showed me this experience because I had to learn something. The only thing you had to learn was that was a vibrational indicator, and that's why you have to take the weight off. Everything is just an indicator, and once you can take the weight off and take the pressure off yourself and saying, well, you know what, that was just an indicator of my negative emotion I was feeling the other day. that's fine. You know, I'm not a huge lesson learning.
No.
Make the best of the situation and learn from it, but it's not a lesson that's being shown to you because you need to learn something. It's just a vibrational indicator.
Yeah.
So, great. Have you anything else to add to that? I think we've had a relatively comprehensive overview of the law of attraction.
Yeah, I think so. I can't wait to start sharing the processes with everyone.
That'd be great. So that's pretty much it. In essence, what you think and feel manifest. Try to feel as good as you can, as much as you can, and let yourself off the hook, and let everyone else off the hook. We'll probably be covering relationships in a little bit later, because that's a huge, huge part of all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you've just joined the show, you're listening to the Psychic Training Ground, and today we're covering the law of attraction, back to basics, taking the theory and the practical so that you can use it in your life. If anyone in the chat room has any questions, or if anyone wants to call or Skype in, then please feel free to. I'm ready to introduce our very next guest. She's a wonderful teacher. Her name's Ishara. Hopefully she's standing by ready to speak. I'll just bring you on just to give a little bit of introduction to her. We all met each other in the London group, and now she's started her own, and she's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. You can tell by the power of how she speaks and how she teaches that whoever she's working with can be easily brought into alignment.
Yes, we love Ishara.
I will bring Ishara on. Hopefully you're there, Ishara. Can you hear me? You're live.
Oh,
hello, my
Nick.
dear. How are you?
Ishara.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. We can feel your smile.
Thank you. I've heard all the
can.
things you've had to say about the law of attraction and the great explanations as well.
Oh, yeah, you're so fabulous. Just to start off with, tell us a bit about you. I'm losing my voice, so if it goes silent, just let Nadira take over. So tell us about you. How's your life been up till now? How has law of attraction changed it? How did you come across it to begin with?
It's quite interesting, actually. I've always been on a path of self-discovery, really, and sort of self-realization for many, many years. I remember first reading a book about thought processes when I was about 11 years old. And the one thing I remember that stands out from it is it said this. It said, thoughts are like a boomerang. Whatever thought you are thinking, it comes straight back to you. So I've always been aware of the power of our thoughts itself. And it's akin to sort of the law of attraction, really, which means like attracts unto itself. And the whole power of your emotions and your thought vibrations, as Nick and Nadira were explaining. In the same phase, I actually understand all of it in terms of like cause and effect, karma, which is as you sow, so shall you reap, etc. The law of attraction works, actually, is quite a funny story, really. I first came across it about 2 years ago. I remember walking into a Borders bookshop, and I picked up the book, The Law of Attraction. I sort of skimmed through some of the pages of it, and I put it back down. And I thought, no, that can't be true. And it was quite strange because I just thought, that just cannot be real. Anyway, I put it down and literally walked out of Borders. Then a few days later, a friend of mine actually asked me if I know anything about the law of attraction. I've actually just picked up a book in Borders, and I just had a quick glimpse through it. And it seemed really interesting, but I don't really understand what it means or what it's about, etc. So it was quite strange. She said she had the book, and she read the book, and she has started actually doing some of the processes from there. And so I was really shocked. I thought, that's bizarre. I've just picked up the same exact book, and I thought, I've just actually read that, and she's actually...
It was persistent.
It was bizarre. It was like a deja vu experience. You know how you think, how did that come about?
Yeah.
Anyway, we met up for lunch a few days later, and she gave me the book. And I started reading the book, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. So I thought, oh my God, is this really true? Are we creating our own reality? Are we actually creating our own life? And exactly what's happening to our circumstances and situations, etc. So for me, it was really interesting, and I was really gripped into it. So it took me a few days, and I read the book. And then I started actually searching online to see what's going on, if anybody else was actually into this sort of information. It was really bizarre. I searched and searched, and I came up with quite a lot of information about the Abraham Hicks stuff. And then I found a group in London that people actually went to. Anyway, I actually put it on my diary, and I said, okay, I need to try and actually do this. So I put it in my diary, but I didn't actually make it for the first few weeks.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I actually ended up at one of the groups. And I remember sitting in this dark room, and everybody's doing this meditation. And
yeah, and you, yeah.
God. And just like that, just sitting there, and then they asked you to do sort of an introduction and an intent. So anyway, I actually thought, oh my God, what am I supposed to say? I don't know anything about all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It just sounds quite weird. It sounds strange. Anyway, everybody started talking, introducing themselves and talking about their manifestations and their processes and all the stuff that was coming to them. And when they came to me, I actually thought, what do I say? I don't really have any positive stuff to say. Like, it was quite bizarre. And anyway, the next week I went back, and people started saying more stories about all the incredible stuff that was actually happening to them.
I know.
And they were saying they were manifesting houses and boyfriends and celebrities and lifestyles out of this world. And I thought, my God, what am I supposed to say? And I thought that the first thing I thought to myself, oh my God, what's the matter with these people? Are they actually on drugs? I seriously thought, are these people on drugs? How on earth can they actually be so excited and so positive about life? So anyway, with that experience, I kept going every week to find out a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. And then I said, okay, I need to get this book, Ask and It Is Given, by Esther and Jerry Hicks, and find out what's this processes and all this stuff about. Anyway, I started actually reading the book, and I couldn't put that down either. And I started trying out some of the processes that the people were doing in the group itself. And I started to see things happening for me. Amazing shifts were happening in my life, and I could see things changing. My attitude had completely changed towards things. My awareness of my feelings, my emotions had changed. And I started practicing what people were actually saying. And I was actually starting to actually feel like I was on drugs as well now.
Yeah.
It's strange because
I know.
No against anybody who attended the group, but seriously, I thought everyone was on drugs until I actually started doing the stuff, and then I felt like I was on drugs after that. So, you know, it is absolutely incredible how life-changing this material.
Just to add to what you're saying, Ishara, that's how I felt as well. There were no drugs. There was nothing physical involved. After you spend time in that group with everyone's energy just being so high and, you know, just being so positive, you really felt literally high.
Yes. I remember the
off that group.
Yes. I remember every time I left the group, I was on a high. I felt I could be, do, or have anything.
Exactly. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing high all the time. As soon as I walked out, I felt so happy and so good. That
let's hope we could create that same. Let's hope we could create that same environment on this show for everyone, and everyone joining us as well.
So now, Ishara, you're leading your groups. How's that going, and what would happen, and how does that all working out for you?
By seeing how the law of attraction and the knowledge of this positive thinking works actually changed my life. I decided to actually start my own groups, and I use the similar techniques of the meditations, the leading edge thought processes, simple sort of meditations, relaxations, processes as well, to basically uplift people. And I know from my group as well, when people actually walk out, they say the same thing. We feel as if we're on a high. We feel like we can create anything. And some people that have attended, I've actually seen them physically change, literally, from coming the first time to like the second or third time. Completely different person. So it was quite amazing in that way. And my groups are actually in Essex, and they run every Thursday evening at the Harold Wood Neighborhood Centre. And if anybody's interested in coming along, you're welcome. It's really quite exciting and inspiring.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. Feel free to pop a link to it in the chat room whenever you get a chance before the show's over. So what have you found has made the difference, that has helped those who have really changed their lives? Are there one or two things or a few things that you've seen that you think, well, yeah, that's a consistent pattern, by doing such and such, they've seen the changes in their life?
It's it's quite basic and simple. It's doing the appreciation process itself, is just being grateful, thankful, and appreciative of where you are right now. As you said before, it's just accepting your situation and circumstance as it is, and being appreciative of where you are, to be able to uplift your situation to a higher level is actually quite important. So I find giving them the sort of appreciation process to do is quite exciting, and also doing the meditations as well.
Yeah, that's what I found, yeah. Especially those who come into my group, it's those who kind of take the material and make it a conscious thing. And that's why I wanted to marry the two together today, the theory and the processes, because it's all well and good reading all the books and watching the videos, and it's great to know it, but there seems to be something different about taking the material and working with your own emotions and your own situations, and doing that yourself, and that seems to be the main key. Cool. Is there any last bits that you want to add, Ishara, before I invite our next guest on? Any points of theory of the law of attraction that you want added or emphasized at all?
I think the things that I actually do is actually set intents on what I really want. Like in terms of being aware constantly of my emotions and my feelings. And sometimes the group is a good way to highlight people's, to highlight for people of being aware of their emotions and their feelings, because that is actually what is creating the quick attraction point to what is actually coming into your life. So in terms of what you were talking about, raising your vibration to a higher level, it's all based on your emotions and your feelings. So I think, and the most important thing is, for me, is every day is to feel happy and to feel good. You don't even have to want anything or, ask for like massive things. It's just a matter of being happy and feeling good. Actually helps you attract all the fantastic things towards you, because you've, as Esther and Jerry says, you have been asking all your life, and everything is already in the vortex, and everything is already known. So the only thing you have to do is release the resistance surrounding you, and to be able to focus on feeling good and feeling happy. So that's what I'd like to share. If anything at all you take out of this show, it's literally try to focus on feeling happy and feeling good all the time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what that's because I've heard your emotions, this and the other, but that's paying attention is how does it make me feel, and that's such a conscious thing. I can't not be in a situation and not try to feel comfortable as I can, or if I'm not, then I'm very conscious of it. And I think that's what's made the biggest thing for me. Okay, Anthony, if you're ready, hopefully you're standing by, and I'll bring you on the air now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Anthony. Yay, you're live.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nadira.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Hi, Ishara.
Hello.
Cool. Welcome. So, Anthony, just to give you a bit of
Big
introduction.
reunion.
Yeah. Anthony's such a brilliant mind. He knows a lot about a huge areas of this kind of field and spirituality and stuff. And he's got a great mind. So I was very eager to get him on the show. So, Anthony, just give us a bit of background about you and your work and how you come across this and how it's helped change your life.
Sure. Well, I first got into these kind of metaphysical kind of ideas in 2002 when I started having these lucid dreams, and then I started having some out-of-body experiences and things like that, which were a complete different mindset, because I'd come up from a very science background. To have these kind of experiences really shook my ideas about what there was to experience in life. And so from that, I kind of wanted to look into what I could do to the number of lucid dreams I was having. So I got into things like crystals and Reiki, and I learned quite a bit about that. And then kind of serendipitously, I ended up working, being sent to work in Glastonbury, which is a kind of mecca for these kind of new age and alternative ideas. And while I was there, I met a person who introduced me to the concept of manifestation. And at the same time, I picked up a copy of a magazine called Kindred Spirit, which had an article about the Bleep DVD on there, and I watched that, and again, that was kind of.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it suited my kind of scientific, analytical mind to introducing these ideas while combining it with the spiritual perspective, which I hadn't really been able to marry before. But it kind of introduced me to this idea of nature, about reality being vibration and it not being as solid as I thought. But it doesn't really talk about the concept of manifestation or anything like that. But in the same magazine, there was an advert in the inside front cover for Ask and It's Given. And I'd never heard of Abraham whatsoever. I didn't know anything about them. But the subtitle to the book is Learning to Manifest Your Desires. So I just bought it from Amazon, thinking, oh, this will just be a kind of book that might help me manifest things. But it's so much more. It's just a complete way of life, a complete way of thinking about things. So it's so much, it's a complete system, really. And, things happened, and I ended up living in Brighton, so I ended up being able to travel to London to go to the groups there. And when I was there, that was when I first started listening to the Abraham CDs, and actually listening to the recordings of the session gives it a completely different perspective to just reading it in a book. So I've learned a hell of a lot more from doing that. And so all of that happened kind of in about 2005, and then then The Secret came along in 2006, and then the whole scene just picked up in momentum, and it went to a whole another level. And in 2007, I went on the Hawaii cruise, so that was a really good experience.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, I had no idea that I'm not the kind of person who would normally go on a cruise. The idea didn't resonate, but if Abraham's there, then that puts it in a completely different perspective. And it's Hawaii as well. You can't complain about that. Yeah. So and I saw them when they were in London in 2008. So that was good, and I hope they come back soon. I mean, that would be fantastic. Yeah. So that's kind of my background and introduction into how I got into Abraham, and so I was drawn to it primarily for the manifesting point of view, but as I said, it's just this it's the whole mindset, it's the whole philosophy, a way of thinking about reality that it's so all-encompassing. It kind of explains absolutely everything.
It does, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it just made me realise that things always do work out when I allow them to. The only thing that stops things working out really is when I stop them by the thoughts I'm thinking, and as a result the actions that end up doing as a result of my thoughts and things like that. So it's just made me feel more optimistic and more enthusiastic about life generally. And it's altered the way I go about doing things in that I always line up my thoughts and my emotions before I start taking action. And then, it's always I wait for the inspired action to do. And it's just, it's a lovely way to live and just to it's so much easier as well. It's not struggling to take action to try and get something done. It's just relaxing and getting into finding the feeling place, allowing the thoughts to come along, the thoughts kind of dovetail into each other until eventually you get one of those aha moments, and suddenly it's kind of an explosion of an idea that you can't resist but take action on it. So it's just great for improving difficult situations that I come across, and just being able to enjoy life more and just enjoy the process, and just having all these wonderful synchronicities and wonderful, coincidences.
I love synchronicities. That's my favorite one.
Yes,
I know.
me too.
They're wonderful. It's like, I've heard them referred to as kind of psychic slaps on the back, just like, that you're on the right track. And it's just kind of the realization and appreciation of the abundance of this planet and what it has to offer. So, it's just great. And I just love how Abraham's message is evolving and just becoming clearer and clearer. And it's refining and becoming simpler and just more effective and more powerful. So, I'm loving it.
That's good. You speak of inspired action. Could you speak more on that, please? Because I think that's quite a valid, big point that we should cover. So what does inspired action mean to you?
Well, I suppose I'd start by contrasting it with non-inspired action. It's kind of when you've got action that you think you have to do. You think, I need to do this in order to get there. It's a kind of action that you don't, your heart really isn't into. You just feel like you should do it. And I've heard people say that the word should is kind of a warning flag, because it's kind of motivated by obligation and things like that. Whereas if you've got something like inspired action, that tends to come about once you've started doing the process and started shifting your energy towards your kind of ultimate goals and intentions like that. Then once you start doing that, as I said, the ideas kind of dovetail until you get ideas and more ideas coming along that just kind of, once they've all dovetailed together, they explode into a great idea, and then it's kind of action that you can't, as I said, you can't resist doing it. It's just, you have to do it, and it feels good to do as well. It's action that feels good. It feels right. It feels when it's in that kind of place, everything works out. Everything unfolds right. Everything is in the right place. You're in the right place at the right time. You don't really have to think about things much. You just say the thing that kind of is what the other person wants to hear, without knowing that that's the thing they want to hear, and the ideas just kind of bounce off each other. It's just a wonderful experience when it happens, and I find that it happens when after I've been doing these processes, it just gets the momentum going, and it all starts flowing.
Yeah, no, you raise a very interesting point, because all the time, especially from the motivational area, we're constantly hearing, you have to take action, you must take action, you must, and that means going out and applying for 100 jobs or going on 1,000 dates to meet your soulmate. But what we're encouraging is to take inspired action. That's the action that you've done is the pre-paving, the aligning, the processes, the positive aspects, and feeling good. And then once you're in that good place, then you will be inspired to buy the lottery ticket at that time, or you'll go to the shop and you'll bump into your friend who you haven't seen for years and years and years. And that's kind of what the synchronistic pre-paving that we speak about, and that's the action that we want to take. Okay, so just to play devil's advocate to the whole team, I'm just literally coming up off the top of my head with questions that people might have, and whoever wants, well, you can all answer, and whoever feels best prepared, then go ahead. So what about all the bad things? So what about war and poverty? How does all that fit in the picture? Does anyone want to take that one on? Don't all rush at once. Hello. No?
Well, do you want to pick someone, or Shall I go? I don't mind.
Just volunteer yourself. That's fine.
Yeah, I suppose I would say there's kind of, they talk about the vortex, and that's a place of feeling good. And then, for there to be this place of feeling good, you wouldn't know what feeling good was if you didn't know the absence of it. So, because there needs to be, it's like they say, if you had a photograph and there wasn't any contrast in the photograph, it would be entirely grey. So the contrast is what's necessary for life in order so that you can tell one thing from another. And it's kind of the nature of the world and the universe is one of well-being. But we can also have resistance to well-being and things like that. So it's just about having these poles of experience, so that if you do have contrast, I mean, for people living in this country, the contrast is nowhere as extreme as it might be in other places in the world. But it's the same basic principle in that by knowing what you don't want, you can know what you do want. And once more and more people get exposed to these ideas, knowing that, focusing on the essence of what they do want, they can move towards what they do want. It allows these kind of experiences to have some kind of, I don't really want to say a learning experience, but it's just kind of, you can...
An experience, yeah.
Yes, it's an experience that allows you to put stuff into your vibrational escrow and move towards it. So and it causes enormous expansion in what is put into the vibrational escrow and the vortex. So you also kind of have to look at it from this kind of perspective of us being eternal beings as well. So, because when you look at it from that perspective, these kind of things make more sense. Whereas if you look at it from just a physical perspective, just a one lifetime thing, then it becomes more difficult to kind of understand these experiences.
Absolutely, beautifully put. And that's the thing. I mean, I find that people who are wanting to poke about it, oh well, what about the war and what about the murder and this, that, and the other, that comes to more of a slightly disconnected point of view, because you can't know anyone else's experience. And to be honest, if you go to some of the so-called poorer countries, they're probably more happy than a lot of the people in the Western world with facilities like running water and toilets, because you just can't see outside of your own perspective. That if you take a step round, that there is such well-being, and then people say, oh well, then they live an awful life and they die. And in saying that, they're saying death is the wrong thing, and you can't even do that, because knowing what we know, that it's just an experience, and you just return to non-physical, and that's pure positive energy at the end of the day. And that's that. And say you were to see famine and hunger and poverty, you give birth to that in your own escrow. So if you were to align with that, then you would become part of the solution, as it were, as opposed to adding energy to what you see to be the problem. I don't know if anyone else wishes to add anything else to that, but I mean, that's all contrast. It's just a big step one, and the master tennis players and sports people, they prefer the challenge. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. And just to add, expand on what you said earlier, you can't sit from your physical shoes and look at someone else and say that, they have created a life of war and famine that's really bad to them, because you don't know what they've put in their escrow. Maybe they were even worse off before, and this is a stepping stone of feeling a little better. As you know, that's my take on it.
That's what, I also actually feel it's, as Abraham says, it's actually a collective conscience in terms of the vibration that you're actually attracting. And if you're vibrating at that same level, then it's almost as if you are asking or you are wanting something more or something better for you to be able to, you've got something going on in your vibration which needs to be cleaned up. And what happens is you are asking for something better than that. And that's why you get this transition period where you get the wars and you get the problems and stuff to actually fix you've got something going on in your vibration. Fix the problem itself. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Is everyone...
Get a bit of echo. Sorry.
I can hear us being paid back to us ourselves. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's basically what Abraham says. It's creating this knowing of I want something better. So the vibration that they actually going towards is in terms of they have put quite a lot into the vortex of good stuff in terms of knowing what they do want. So by having this sort of contrast, they can say, what is it that I want right now? And then the war comes up, and it's just, okay, this is what I want. I want something better than what I have right now. That's how I understand it anyway.
Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll move on to the second bit. Can I really do or have anything I want? Can I be a football player? Can I be a millionaire? Is that really possible? Does someone want to take that one on?
I think it goes back to what you were saying before about the essence of it. So you want to be a football player, but why do you want to be a football player? How will you feel if you become this football player? I think in my life, the things that I've thought that I've wanted, I've gotten sometimes 10 million times more even better than what I've expected that I wanted before. But the feeling that what I wanted would bring me, it just was amplified by this thing that came into my life. So I do believe that you could have anything you want. Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyone else want to add to that?
I think as long as you can justify why you want it, which is what the teachings is about. It's exactly why do you want it? What's it going to do for you? How's it going to make you feel?
Yeah.
In terms of the feeling point, the vibrational, emotional sense itself, how would I feel if I have this? Do I really want this in order for this to happen? So that's how I feel about that.
Actually,
you can do or have whatever you want, provided you have the basis on which it needs to justify why you want it.
Yeah, and that's a really good point that I want to address, actually, because it's a general versus specific thing. Because a lot of people say, well, I want £1 million and it has to come through this route, and I shouldn't work for it, and it has to be the lottery or something, and then you can feel the resistance in that, and that's why when we teach, it's easy to be general as opposed to be specific. I would like a good chunk of money in a good chunk of time, as opposed to I need £1 million by next Friday. Feel the difference in that, and that's why we say be general. So I don't have to find a soulmate. Someone to date would be nice. I've got good friends, and once you can ease off the resistance, then that's when you start allowing things, because people have such an idea. It says, oh, I've put it on my list, therefore it will happen, and where is it, and why isn't it happening? Law of attraction doesn't work. It's kind of easing that off, and then you can start to allow it, and by the time it doesn't even matter whether you get it or not, then it will come into your experience. You know, I've heard that so many times. Anthony, do you want to add anything to that, or has that covered?
Yeah. They used to say, be as specific as you can be and feel good. But now I've noticed in their later recordings, in the last, at the end of about December last year and stuff, they were really focusing on the getting general about things. And I heard them once talk about there are kind of 3 ways you can go about creating on a broad level. On the first level, if you're a long way emotionally from what you want, the easiest way to get into an allowing state is to start thinking about a topic entirely unrelated to the topic that you want to create on. And by doing that, your vibration will rise, because you're no longer thinking those resistant thoughts about this topic. And then the second one, when you're a bit closer, then you start thinking about the essence of what it is that you want to create. And that's kind of coming back to this thinking generally about things. And then once you kind of moved up the emotional scale, or moved more, being kind of practice the vibration of getting to the vortex more, then you could start thinking specifically about things, and then think about things as much detail as you possibly want. So it's I kind of think of them a bit like gears on a car. So when you're starting out, you start off in a low gear, and then you gradually build up speed until it's easy to think about things in the absolute fine detail. Because they say things like in the vortex, your vortex is very, very specific about things about things you want, about things you put in your vortex. But if you're a long way away emotionally from what you put into your vortex, then it's much easier to just think generally about things, think about the essence, and then you'll find that you're not bogging yourselves down in the absence of what you want. I find it a lot easier to feel better, find a better feeling thought when I'm thinking generally about something, rather than just thinking specifically about it, because I find that sometimes I get too specific too soon, and that just throws me out of the vortex. So I find it's good to stay general. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we've covered a lot of theory. Now I just want to start talking about practical, real-life examples of how you guys have seen it appear in your life, or the people that you teach, or your friends around you. So I'm going to go straight in for the money, because people are going to be listening and thinking, well, that's nice, that's kind of boring, but how do I get my money? Or how do I get my relationship? Or how do I get better health? Because that is a lot of the basis of the asking, especially as we live in so-called recessional times. It's hard times. People are looking for more. So if, just to start off with, let's talk about money. Can anyone offer examples of how they let more money in, or their friends, or any of their students, or any wonderful stories to do with money and how they've so-called applied the law of attraction to that, or seen it applied? So if anyone wants to cover money, which I'm sure is a big one. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What I actually run in my group is actually called the Money List Game.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Which is actually just draw a line in the middle of the page, and on the left-hand side just write deposit, and on the right-hand side write spent.
Okay.
So what I say is, okay, today you got £1,000 from the universe, and you got to spend all of the money today. So you can spend it on whatever you want. £200 for clothes, £200 for shoes, literally anything you want to buy. Or you can take the whole £1,000 and spend it on a video camera or whatever you want. The next day you have 2,000 and you spend all of that money. And the following day, 3,000, 4,000, just like day, you're getting £1,000 more, and then you're having to spend all of the money. That game actually creates an amazing feeling. It opens up so much in terms of feeling, because you feel that I can have all of this stuff, and you actually releasing the resistance from the feeling of the fact that I don't have money. It's just by playing the game, it makes you feel really great, because you think, today I've got like £3,000, what can I spend it on? Mm-hmm. And the whole idea of it is actually to, it's more to trigger your imagination, literally. Because we actually think about things in a very limited way. We think, okay, in reality, we've only got this amount of money, so we can only actually get this amount of things. But when you play the game itself, there comes to a stage where you've got so much money, and you think to yourself, what am I going to do with all this money? And it obviously triggers this feeling within yourself to say, what else do I need? What else can I buy? It triggers off your imagination in such a way that you think that there's so much more that I can actually have and buy that I haven't actually thought about. And in a way, when you're starting to play the game, you're saying to the universe, I'd like to have this and 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 this. And it actually opens up so many more doors for you in terms of manifesting stuff that actually can come to you easily, because you're focusing on it and you're actually feeling good about the stuff. So that's one of the games I actually teach on my group. And then again, there's something else where you actually, Abraham says, keep $100 in your pocket and spend it
mentally, yeah.
Yeah, spend it mentally. So when you have that money in your pocket, you think to yourself, okay, I've got money, I can buy that. So I've got money, I can, get whatever I want. Instead of having the sort of like, I know people talk about the poverty consciousness, where you don't have enough money to buy things, and you always think, I'm never going to have enough money to buy stuff. And that's how that also shifts your vibration to feeling that I can afford it, I've got the money, but I don't really need, I either don't need it right now, or you're not going to sort of go out and buy it, but you get that feeling that you are abundant. You've got abundance, and you've got money coming to you, and it's just that amazing feeling that you create about money, which releases the resistance about being in sort of poverty conscious, where you feel like you don't have money. So I mean, that's how I actually I use those processes in that way.
That's so good.
I absolutely love that process, Ishara, that you spoke about, the money game, making a list of things. As you said, it opens up your imagination, and for that time of the day, or even when, for me, whilst brushing my teeth on mornings or something, I'll be thinking, I've got £80,000 to spend today. I wonder what I could buy. And it has me thinking even throughout the day, what am I going to get today? What should I get today? And it really does open up your thinking and open up to receiving the gifts that the universe wants to give you. And another thing that I found with respect to that money game, it really allowed me to appreciate the abundance that's in my life presently.
Yes.
Yeah, so true.
I'm having so much fun with this technology, speaking to all you guys everywhere.
Exactly. That is so perfect.
Yeah, it opened my eyes to the abundance that I've created, and it makes me confident in my ability to create and attract and allow even more to flow to me.
That is so true.
I think that's what important is to see that as fun, and that's the way you explain it. It's kind of because they say there are 22 processes in the back of the Ask and It Is Given book, but they also say use the word game and process interchangeably. And that's what I love about the processes you just explained, that they are games, they are fun, and that's that's the vibration to have with money or anything really. That it's just to play with those kind of thoughts and ideas, and then it's just. There's no resistance because it just feels so good. You just you just enjoy the process. And you get to a place where you don't really care about the money coming in, and then it does. And that's the magic of it.
Yes. It's quite amazing as well for me, because just by doing that and having that feeling, I've actually manifested so many things out of it. I've actually got free courses. The one time I thought I was actually applying for a course which actually cost about £600. And just by playing this game, I actually put on the list itself £600 to pay for the course. And literally a few days later, I actually got the course for about £30.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. That's how incredibly magical it is, because all the things that we want, it's the universe is actually almost saying it's there and you can have it. And it doesn't always have to cost money.
No.
Sometimes you can actually have it for nothing.
Exactly. I love that.
And that's the whole magic of the whole thing, where just like magic really happens from it. And it happened for me so many times. And I think it's just playing the game. Just try it out if you haven't already, and just see how many things change. Another to mention as well is, by playing that particular game, when you actually are in, just as Nadira said, you're thinking, what can I buy today with all that money? What happens is, when you go out shopping, if you're going to buy your food, you're going to buy your clothes, whatever you're doing with money, you find that things automatically are a lot cheaper or free, or just almost like costing not as much as it used to before. And you almost have like more money in your purse all the time because you're attracting this abundance conscience into your escrow, sort of. And you're feeling inside your heart is like you've got quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's how the universe...
Perfectly. You're feeling it in your heart.
Yeah.
You've got all of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool thing. We've actually got a caller on the line, so I'm not sure if they're here to hurl abuse or share a story or ask a question, but I'll bring them on and we'll see how it goes. So caller 5766, you're on the air now. Hello? Hi, caller. Is there anyone there? Oh, hello? Hello, 5766, you're on the air? Okay then, maybe not. As we were saying. Yeah, so I carry on, Ishara and Nadira?
I was just saying the feeling of abundance when you actually play the game. It's just the feeling of, I've got so much money all the time. There's no way I'm ever going to be short of money. That's how my feeling is like, there's so much abundance out there. What's to worry about money? There's no way you're going to be worried about not having enough money. And that's why I say I strongly recommend everyone actually play the game and feel the feeling, because it's just, I can't explain how magical it is and how many things actually came out of it for me personally.
Yeah. For me, I completely agree and understand everything you're saying, Ishara, but you know what was even more astounding for me? The feeling of, it was the feeling of release. There was that release of worry. That was a huge shift to me, that there's no reason to be worried.
Yes.
Yeah, the worry just dissipated. It just, that was what that game did for me. And from feeling worry, I moved on to feeling better and optimistic, and then really open up to, wow, I could really have all these things.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it moved from the very bottom of the scale to feeling powerless and worriness to actually feeling better about it. And that was the biggest thing for me, that I no longer worry. I feel better, and I just trust and have faith and know that I'm feeling better. I know things they're okay, and there's so many abundance. This, as you said, not only do things become cheaper, I'm finding that things are just being given to me, and in strange ways. Like I would say, I was explaining, I was speaking to someone about, having this nice meal, and literally 10 minutes later, someone invited me out for lunch, and we went to the most gorgeous restaurant, had the most delicious food. It just little gifts like that just make me so really, really, really happy.
I can resonate with that as well. I've also had that. Incredible experiences in like the poshest of restaurants, and
I know.
literally all paid for as well. So definitely I've seen so many shifts happen just by playing that simple game.
Wow, that is so cool. And I just want to speak about money, because a lot of people who are spiritual, they say, oh, it's not spiritual to be rich or have money. But money is just a reflection of our consciousness. It's just energy. You are physically manifested, so it's okay to enjoy that which is physical around you. Enjoy your money, enjoy your electricity, enjoy the cooker, enjoy your chair. There's so much to be appreciative of, and money is just another reflection of your energy. And that's all it is. And there's so many games. I mean, one game that one of the people in my group did, he wrote just an amount in his diary. So he's like, well, I'd like to have that amount in my bank account by this date. And it happened. And it happened every time he came back to the group. He said, oh, yeah, I got that amount. And it's just the silly games. So, actually, whilst we're on this area, we'll incorporate the processes as we talk about each area. So, Ishara, if you want to talk us through your money game. So we've got a piece of paper and a pen in front of us. How would we do it?
The money game, you just draw a line in the center of the page.
Yep.
And on the left-hand side, I write deposit.
Yep.
And the right-hand side, I write spent.
Deposit and spent, yep.
And then I just write £1,000 on the left-hand side.
Yep.
And then you need to spend all of that money.
Oh, wow. That's
day.
a challenge. Or else.
Or else, yes.
So I'll have a computer, a couple of iPods. Maybe
I'll
that
have
was easy.
one of those lovely meals that I had in that restaurant. And I'll take all of you guys with me.
Fantastic.
And you would do that? And you would do that every day? Is that
every single day? Yes, but every day I've got £1,000 more. So tomorrow I've got £2,000.
Oh, nice.
And then I have to spend all £2,000. And the next day 3,000, and then you spend all 3,000. And what's actually helpful to do is just write the date on the left-hand side as well, so you know every day what day you're actually working on.
Yeah.
Gives you an idea. And by 365 days, you've got like £365,000.
Yeah.
What can I spend that on? So that's the great feeling, really, of having that abundant feeling.
We've got another caller, so I'll just take it. We'll see what happens. So we've got a caller from 1167. Let's see if that happens. Hello, caller. Are you there? Oh, hello? No. Okay, then. Carry on, Ishara.
No, that's fine. That's exactly how I do the process. It's like 365,000. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to ask. And when you do this process, do some people put pictures, or do you tell them to spend just 5 minutes thinking how they would feel about when they buy this thing that they want? What do you do? You just write the things that you want to buy with this £1,000, or do you daydream about it a bit?
In this process, it's just literally writing down what you want. In the next process is basically the magic creation box, which is where they actually can get pictures or write things, collect all of the stuff that they really care about and put it in this box.
Yeah.
But the money game itself, it's also visualizing what they want. And, obviously lots of people actually go and research stuff that they want as well. So a great thing is actually to literally go online, and all the stuff that you're writing on your list that you want, to actually go and just do like Google Images and get images of the things that you want and actually look at them, because graphically as well, you're doing a sort of automatic visualization technique, which is actually registering in your subconscious brain. Mm-hmm. And that as well has quite an effective way of attracting things to you quite quickly, because you know, you can see it, you can feel it, you can actually resonate with what it is. Even go into the shop and actually pick it up, feel it, touch it, find out like more information about it, try it on. Yeah. So that's quite good as well, where you're actually raising up your vibration so high that it can come to you quite quickly and easily. So I strongly recommend doing that as well.
Yeah, can I just add about the difference between the vision boards and the magic creation box
you read
that I found. Yeah, the vision boards is something where you get a big bit of card and then you cut out lots of pictures and then of the essence or the specifics of the things that you want, and then just put them up on the bit of card so that you can look at it over and over again, so that you can see it and just kind of get in tune and find the feeling place of it easily. Whereas I found with the magic creation box, you kind of put the pictures in there, and the process, or the kind of almost ritual of putting the pictures in the box kind of gives the feeling of letting go. When you put it into the box, you've kind of given it to the universe to take care of. Right. So you can open the box up obviously and look at the pictures again and just feel the place as well. But the way I've done it, I've actually I've had it as a closed box, so that you just put the pictures in there, and once it's in there, you get a feeling of it's done exactly. Yeah. And they're both powerful and both feel good. Yeah.
Brilliant. Cool. Okay, so let's move on to the other biggie, relationships, and well, actually, this doesn't even need to be romantic relationships. It could be relationship with friends or parents or stuff. I mean, speaking personally, I found that all my friendships and working relationships and everything are a lot better since I've kind of learned all of this work, because the basic premise is let everyone be exactly who they are, and that's the best gift that you can give anyone. And when you offer the best of them to themselves, they'll give you the best of them, and anything else has nothing to do with you. And I think that's what's helped me the most, because by default I very rarely argue with anyone, or I wouldn't want to, because I know that it's got nothing to do with them anyway. And you know, when the time's ready, I just go off into my little corner and I can work on that emotionally and then just let it go. And as a result, you know, my friendships and all of the people around me has never been better. And it's so wonderful, the great people, because some people I see at work, that they would be quite rude to another manager or another member of staff. They wouldn't even speak to me that way, because it's not the kind of relationship that we have. And once you can just let everyone be who they are and be easygoing, then, you know, they will give you the best of them. And I think that's the great thing about this work, is just let everyone be who they are. You know, does anyone else have anything to add to that?
For me, I think it's being the best me I can be. And when I'm feeling happy and when I'm feeling good all the time, I find that things around me change quite quickly as well. People also change, relationships change. It's simply because I'm actually always in that vibration of feeling great. So that's what I'd like to add in terms of like relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I've found? Automatically now, I just start appreciating people. Like, I was in a meeting a few days ago, and I couldn't help but appreciate this woman's hairstyle and just appreciate the way that she spoke. I just find that it comes automatic to me now, just because my brain and my heart, I suppose, is switched to focusing on what, I don't know, people just light up to me now. People light up to me, and I love it. I love seeing the best in people. I love the diversity of people. I love listening to people's stories. I love it. And at that London group, I saw this. We did a list of positive aspects, which is another one of these little games that we've learned.
Oh yes, tell us about it. How do you do it, and how do you see it being applied?
Right, and all that list is anything, any topic, any situation, any person. In this particular aspect, it was someone came to the group. I think for the first time he came to the group, and we were doing a list of positive aspects. And I was just explaining to him, all you need to do is take that person that you want to do the positive aspects about, and just write anything at all that you appreciate about them, that you admire about them, that you like about them. This person could not find one thing. He was so negatively focused, you know, because for so many years he grew to, he just had so many mixed feelings about this person that he could not see through the light to find even one simple thing to say about this person. And I just started talking to him, asking him, have you ever seen that person have a good relationship with anyone else? Have they dressed nicely one day? Did they wear a nice tie? Do you like their hair? Do you know, and just by asking him those questions, he was saying, he started thinking, oh, well, maybe because he's married, so I guess someone has to like him. You know, his wife probably liked him at some point in time. And, well, yeah, he did wear that really nice shoe that day, like 5 years ago and whatever. And because I told him, if you can't find anything good to write about the person, on your on that day, on the first day, just write in your notebook, I want to see positive aspects about this person.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so, you know, the first 15 minutes of speaking with him, he could not come up with anything. And I said, if you can't find anything right now, it's okay. Just ask the universe, you know, just ask. That's what you're asking for. You're asking to see find positive aspects of this person. So anyway, by the end of the session, he was able to come up with 3 or 4 things that, even though they were quote unquote superficial things, he had nice shoes. He, at one point in time, I remember him saying this nice thing about this nice person. So maybe he's not all negative. And he did that for just 7 days. But the next week that we all met up again, he said, "You would not believe, the most amazing thing happened." He had not spoken to this person in 25 years or something. And it was some crazy time like that, 20 or 25 years. And he'd not even had the opportunity to see this person for a really, really, really long time. And that week, out of the blue, there was an opportunity to see this person. And when he met this person, he shook his hand, and there was almost an electricity, and he said he actually felt a buzz of good energy just go through both of them. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing to see that within 7 days he was able to just soothe himself a little bit just by trying to see the good in that person. He was able to soothe himself, and that was an amazing story. That was an amazing story manifestation. It was just amazing to see that happen.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Just by trying to find things about that person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Does anyone have anything else to add to that? No.
I also actually listened to one of the stories at one of the groups as well, where this woman was talking about someone that worked in her department that she at all. And she also said the same thing. She said, "I just couldn't find anything good about her." And she said it was so difficult to write positive aspects about her itself. And she said after a few days she thought about it. And the same as what Nadira said, she started noticing things. She said, okay, she actually dresses up really nice, she takes care of herself, she speaks well, etc. So she started doing positive aspects of the woman itself. And the most incredible thing happened. Within 2 weeks, the lady the same woman that she didn't really like or wasn't getting on with in her department was actually moved to a different department, which was quite a mind-blowing story. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's really incredible. It's just, how did that happen? I mean, it's just quite amazing how the universe moves people, places, circumstances to actually do things that we would never actually imagine would actually happen. And I thought that's worth sharing because it was quite inspirational for me to learn how, just by actually appreciating and finding positive aspects of someone, it can actually shift things in a way that you would never imagine believable. So that was quite interesting.
I suppose it's kind of, because it is the law of attraction. It's a universal law, and
yes.
it's that Abraham says stuff like that. Either by doing positive aspects of someone, you will either influence them to become the way you've been thinking about them as a result of your positive aspects, or they will tumble out of your experiences if they're not willing to shift as a result of what you're doing. So that's a great example. And another thing that I've found initially is when I'm not getting on with someone, I kind of don't necessarily want to do positive aspects of them because I feel like, I'll be letting them off the hook. They've done this. They've been horrible. Why should I do positive aspects? Why don't they do positive aspects? But the thing to remember is that you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it to make yourself feel good.
Feel better.
Exactly. And so once you start doing that and just kind of letting go of the kind of resentment and just focusing on positive aspects for yourself, then the things happen. Either they will change or they will just, as I say, tumble out of your experience, as we've just heard. So it's very powerful, yes.
You raised a very good point, because all of these teachings, you have to be selfish enough to feel good. You have to put yourself first in that respect, because you're no good to anyone if you're sitting there in your hate and sacrifice and pain. You know, you have to be that strong person that anyone who's sick or falling, they can hold on to you and they'll be strong because you're strong within yourself. And that's a very good point. And just going back to what Ishara just said about the person leaving, it's about setting your vibrational tone and letting the universe arrange circumstances, events and people around you to match your vibration. It's not you to push this person out or keep this person here. Just set your tone and everything else will sort itself out. Cool. Okay, so let's move on to career, job, hobbies, or anything like that. This is quite a biggie for a lot of people, because what I hear and what I feel holds a lot of people back is they say, oh, I know I've got this great life purpose and I'm not fulfilling my purpose or my reason for being. And that, to me, sounds really heavy, especially those who wish to uplift. It can feel quite a burden, you know, I'm not doing this thing I'm supposed to be doing. But once you trust that there is nothing you're supposed to be doing except experiencing and having fun and just living your life as best you see fit, that's the biggest gift. And once you can let yourself off the hook, then funnily enough you will come into alignment with your dream or your so-called life purpose. But when you're offering the vibration of I should be doing this thing that I'm not, that's what holds people back. So it's very much, for me, just enjoy whatever career or hobby or wherever you are, because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to throw in my 9-to-5 job and I'm going to do this, this and this, and it's like, that's cool, and if you feel that's what you're being called towards, great, but just do it bit by bit by bit, and once you take those baby steps, you can actually align with something that you really enjoy, and you'll find that it doesn't matter what you're doing, because you'll be able to be happy wherever you are. So if anyone else has anything to add to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you leave your job because from a place of not enjoying it, then you haven't shifted your vibration. So as soon as you go to another job or you don't do anything, you'll find that you'll still have that resistance there. It'll be different faces, different places, but the same essence. So unless you shift your vibration, then you haven't really changed anything. You've kind of just taken action from outside the vortex, and nothing will improve. Whereas if you stay where you are and just focus on the positive aspects of that, then things around you in the workplace will improve. And in addition to that, if you've put something better in your vortex, then those kind of opportunities and those kind of, those opportunities will present themselves to you. So it's making peace with where you are and then just appreciating with where you are, and goes an upward spiral.
Cool. Anyone else have anything to add to the career or job or finding your life purpose?
I agree with what Anthony said. Making peace with where you are, and and that just ties into what you said as well, Nick, about enjoying all the experiences. I love that, because from each experience you have the contrast and you have the expansion, and I love that. Even at work, for me, it's all experiential. It's all experience this, learn this every day. Every experience I have, I take it as a learning experience, either contrasting or expanding experience, and I'm just loving it. I think my purpose, I think my purpose is just to have fun and just to appreciate everything that I do. And yes, I do have my life goals, and but at the end of the day, it's about you have those goals because, again, you feel that if you accomplish those things, you will feel good. It will make you feel good. So I just try to feel good with whatever I have now. It's about making peace with where you are, but at the same time still looking forward to what's yet to come.
Exactly.
Is happy where you are and eager for more. As they've said.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same as well. It's, as you said before, Anthony, he said inspired action. I actually like to do everything now by inspired action. I like to feel the feeling of want to do something. I have to feel like, there's forced effort in doing anything. Yeah. Because it's just the inspiration comes from within and you just have a love for it. and you just actually go with the flow, and you feel with everything, and it's almost being like, the great example is like being the same in flow as nature is. You just completely feel so sort of like good about doing the things that you want to do. And when you reach that stage, it's almost like there's no effort whatsoever. I'm doing it out of love. I'm doing it out of care.
Yeah.
I'm doing it out of
Joy.
inspiration.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the heart. It's really what I want to do, and it's a connection with this source energy that they talk about, and it's being sort of having the feeling from within that is coming from a higher place, where you're able to just release everything around you and say, I want to really do this, and
just
feel
flows.
good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in those, when you feel that way, everything just flows. Everything just falls into place. Everything around you, it's like, it's just all happening.
You never really have to actually struggle against anything. For me personally, everything feels as if life feels as if it's happening by magic. Things fall into place so incredibly perfectly. I think, how did that happen? And just like, oh my God, thank you, universe. This is just truly incredible. I don't understand how it's working, but just by feeling good and feeling that happy feeling, everything, I don't have to do anything or think about anything, because it's just now flowing from within. And when you reach that place, it just feels so wonderful. And it just feels like no struggle in anything you're doing anymore.
Absolutely.
That's the way it's meant to be. I mean, I've heard sometimes people have gone up onto the hot seat with Abraham, and they've told this story of all these synchronicities, and the audience applauds, and Abraham just stands there and kind of jokes that they're not surprised about it at all. That's the way life is meant to be all the time. So it's wonderful that the potential there is. I mean, I feel that I've got a pretty good grasp of this, but I know there's so much more. There's so much more potential for these kind of magical experiences to happen all the time. So it's very exciting.
No, absolutely. And speaking about magic, because it can seem like magic, well, I've just changed my thought about this person, and suddenly they're giving me completely different things. It's absolutely amazing. Well, there's two ways of dealing with a problem or whatever. It's either concentrate on it and work on it positively, or forget about it completely and let it sort itself out. And that's kind of that's the two ways to focus upon it. So it's up to you how you want to do that. For me, sometimes I'm in the middle of a situation and it's just too much to try and focus positively on it. So I just leave it, forget about it. In a few days, usually it's resolved itself, or I'm able to address it again. And that's kind of, you've got two options in the way that you want to work with it. When it comes to dealing with people or a job or anything, it's just finding anything, just even that one thought. I remember one of my old managers, I just did not get along with them when they first started, and I knew they didn't like me. So I thought, well, okay, this is too big to deal with. Is there anything that I can grab? And the one thing that I felt was, I like the way they compliment everyone. They really acknowledge when people are doing well, and I really held on to that one thing. And now our relationship's completely changed, and we chat and we laugh, and she's always praising me and praising everyone, because that's kind of what I've attuned to her with. And it was just nice just to have that one thing, because sometimes it's just too much and it's just too big to make a whole list about this one person. Sometimes just offering one thing and keeping that your pure vibration, that is enough to shift your energy, and then they'll give you more of what you want to see, and then it'll be easier for you to see that aspect of them. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, really.
That's fantastic. Cool. I really like that.
Cool. Thank you, my dear. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody, Anthony, I think
yes.
I was.
Sorry. I was or taking. You said take your attention away from them, and that's kind of where they're getting about meditation, because they brought out this new meditation CD and book.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and it's they brought that in because they say it's easier to teach someone to think no thought than to think positive thought, especially in the beginning. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this meditation book, and just the whole process of breathing, and it's so great bringing more oxygen into my body. I'm just really enjoying that so much, and it's because they've they've really been focusing on meditation recently, and
wow.
a lot of people have been having a lot of profound effects as a result.
Oh, well, I have to address that with you in a bit, Anthony. Remind me.
Yeah.
Actually, you bring us to a very good point. I was going to leave meditation for a bit later, but meditation is one of a good basic practice that's found across the board. I think all of us do meditation, so, I'll just go around and speak about your own meditation. For me, Abraham says it's to stop thought. That's kind of the premise behind it. And once you stop thought, you stop resistance. And then, that makes it easier for you to deal with. So for me, I'm not a huge fan of meditation because my mind's going everywhere. But it's nice just to sit and breathe and just bring everything down a little bit. And then, you can go out and address things easier. I do it every day. I wouldn't say I do it properly, but, it's just a practice that I hold to. And it's just a nice touch point. And you can do it anywhere, on the bus, on the tube, presumably if you're sitting down. In your bed, before you go to sleep, when you wake up. It doesn't have to be longer than a few minutes, but it's just centering yourself and bringing yourself back down, and then you can go forward and address it. So if you guys want to speak about your meditation experiences, because I know we all do it. So, yeah.
Should I go first?
Yeah, I know you're a little meditation expert, so please, hold the floor.
Yes.
Okay. I actually have been doing meditation for many, many years. I do quite a lot of meditation. Just to quickly give you an idea of what it does for you, really, just for the viewers and for those who don't actually know. It's incredibly amazing to bring you into the present moment. And by actually doing the breathing and the meditation, the breathing itself actually oxygenates the cells in your body, and it raises your energy levels to quite a high positive vibrational level. And that's why the Abraham meditations at the moment contain the breathing techniques together with the meditation. But before that was actually even released, I normally do the breathing and the meditation. So just to give you an idea of that, the meditation itself has loads of benefits. And some of it is actually, it increases your physical energy. And it's quite amazing what they say about it. It's almost like recovering 4 hours of sleep or so by doing like 10, 15 minutes of meditation. And some of the physiological and amazing rest factor for the nervous system itself that it gives you. It also gives you sort of like calming and peaceful emotional states and helps mental clarity, where you find that quite a lot of answers come within your meditation itself. So it's quite incredibly powerful in that way. And it just increases your energy levels and your vibration to one of like amazing well-being and happiness. It sort of deeply, as I say, it deeply accelerates our personal growth and self-discovery. It's quite interesting how actually deep it goes and how connected you get into the present moment. And that's what the whole thing is about, is the acceptance and sort of being in the present moment and appreciating life as it is. So for me, it's been quite a profound effect, and I found quite a lot of exciting things come out of the meditations itself, where you'll get sort of like brainwaves of answers that you're looking for, or inspiration, flashes of inspiration, to lead you onto like incredible paths where you'd never thought about in sort of normal, just normal waking consciousness. So for me, I think that's a massive part of an everyday process, to be able to incorporate some bit of meditation into your day.
Absolutely. And I know for me, and there's probably tons of other people who I speak to, they're like, I just can't meditate, my mind's always going. Do you have any basic tips to help anyone who's feeling frustrated with it, or then so they're doing it properly, or anything like that? What would you say to them?
Yeah, depends on what sort of meditations you're using. I actually strongly recommend using guided meditations, where you put it on your iPod and actually play it. And then you actually, it's quite guided, and you're listening to the words on the tape itself. The Abraham meditations, the new ones, are really excellent. A lot of what I played with is actually the Paul McKenna meditations as well.
Oh, I do like that. Yeah.
It's actually quite brilliant, and I found quite a lot of results from that, from recommending for myself and recommending it to other people, simply because it used quite a lot of different science in the Paul McKenna meditations itself. It uses the breathing, it uses the guided meditations, it uses neuro-linguistic programming, it uses thought field processes, it uses bringing you back into the present, relaxation, and it has quite a lot of science technology in the meditations itself. So I recommend that if you're starting off with meditations, to actually try some of those. Also, before you start the meditation, I recommend doing a bit of deep breathing. Sort of take a deep breath in and through your nose. Hold your breath for a couple of seconds and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. And it's sort of doubling the breath on the out breath. So it's like 4 seconds in and then about 8 seconds out, and then holding the breath and then breathing in through the nose again and then breathing out, just doing a few of those. And that actually helps calm your emotions, and it helps you get deeper into your meditation itself. So that's I recommend. That's what I actually do, and it's always worked for me.
Brilliant. Cool. Anthony, have you anything to speak about meditation and how it fits into your life? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of meditation before the Abraham book came out, but definitely the book has really changed my way of looking at things, because it's definitely focused a lot more on the breathing aspect of things. And just as I said, I just love the feeling of getting more oxygen into my body, to into my cells and things like that. And I found a couple of iPad and iPhone apps that have you can program the number of breaths per minute and things like that, so you can fiddle around with things more. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah, there's one called pranayama, which is because that means the yoga of breath, and there's one that's that you can create lots of rhythms, so you can program the duration of the ratio of breaths in, holding for a certain amount of time, then letting it go, and then holding a bit without any breath in your lungs. So you can play around with those kind of things. And I definitely like those. And there's another one called Breathing Zone, which is actually my favourite. You can have lots of different sounds to remind you to breathe in and breathe out, and it's got this lovely kind of pattern that zooms in and zooms out, depending on to help you match your lungs, breathing in and breathing out with your lungs. So and in terms of benefits, it just feels lovely afterwards. Just coming out of that zone after like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, everything just feels so peaceful, and it's just a lovely feeling in your body. And it's that feeling that keeps drawing me back, because previously I was having difficulty with it. I was finding it boring, but definitely having something to focus on, whether it's a candle or whatever, but having something that you're always doing, like breathing, is just it really grounds you, and it's just I find that's just very easy to focus on. So I recommend that. Yes.
Cool, brilliant. Okay, we've covered actually almost all the processes. Does anyone want to speak about the placemat? Because I know this is quite a popular one. It's not one that I'm fully aware of or that I do. So if any of you guys want to talk about the placemat, I know that you guys are quite experienced with it, then please show us how to do it. Yeah, don't rush it one. Ishara, I know that that's something that you do, so if you want to go.
That's my favorite process, actually.
Oh, great.
It's incredible to release resistance, and it's an amazing, exciting process for me. It's the placemat, or the universalist, is actually, it's where, should I explain the process?
Yeah, please do. Break it down as if to a complete beginner, that'd be great.
Okay, so it's just the same as like the money list, but you draw a line in the middle of the page. On the left hand, I do it very simply. I know in the Ask and It is Given books, it's obviously done in a different way, but I do it quite very simple and basic and easily. So draw a line in the middle of the page. On the left hand side, you write me, and on the right hand side, you write universe, God, angels, whatever resonates with you. Yeah. So on the left-hand side, the me side, the only thing I actually write is happy, feel good, feel great. Yeah, that's the only thing that's on my list, on my side. On the right-hand side, I actually write, I know I can't control all of the activities in my life itself. So what I actually write on the universe side or the God side or whatever is I write, show me reasons to feel good. Show me reasons to feel happy. Give me reasons to feel great. Give me reasons to feel happy. And things like, and the rest of everything I'm worrying about. Like literally anything that I need to do for the day, or if I need to go somewhere or something like that. Say for instance, I needed to be on the show at 5 o'clock. So I just put show at 5 on my universe side, because the thing is that I can't control all of the situations and circumstances. I can't know that everything is going to work out perfectly. Things could go wrong. Laptop could not work. My phone could go wrong. Things could go wrong in terms of setting things up. I'm actually at the mercy of the World Wide Web to get online. So everything is out of my control, really. I can't control anything. I can be there at 5 o'clock. But in terms of the rest of the things, I know I need some help. Like, for it's almost like the universe giving you a kick up to say, do this and I'm supporting you in the rest of it. So in terms of that, I would put like, get literally show at 5 p.m. and that means I don't have to worry about it anymore because I know it's all done. And literally, then I'm inspired to set everything up and just get it going, and everything goes so smoothly. It's like with no problem whatsoever. And the same thing as if I'm going somewhere and I need to be somewhere at a certain time. Say for instance, I need to be in London this evening at 7 p.m. I just put down my destination, my ultimate sort of what I need to do, and the rest of it, I put that on my universe side, because I know that I can't do everything. I have to actually depend on the trains being on time. I have to depend on getting to the station, literally, in the right frame of mind, in a good way, and things like that. So once you put it's more like putting all your problems on the universe side. Those are just examples. It's just you put all the stuff, your detailed list of the things that you need to do. It's like your to-do list. You put your to-do list on the right-hand side, on the universe side, and it's so amazing because it just almost everything works out so perfectly. It puts you in alignment with everything happening exactly as you want it to, or even better. So that's how I actually do the placemat process.
Wow, that's so good.
Way. And I find that so many things actually work out so incredibly well when I do that, because I'm not worrying anymore about the things that I need to do, because I know once it's on the universe list, it's done. I'm definitely going to do it, or the universe is going to support me in actually getting it all sorted.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's the mentality and the feeling behind it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the thing with all these games and processes. Just do it because it's fun and it helps you feel better. And that is the work. Because that's why sometimes it'll work for someone and it will work for nobody. Because it's how do you feel when you do it. And that's why there's no one way. There's no prescriptive way. Just try all these little games and techniques out. And see what happens, really. Test it. And if you like it, great. If not, then move on to something else. Nadira, I think you were coming in with something else to say.
I think I've tried this process before. I've played this game before, Ishara, and it's true what you're saying. It's definitely having that feeling of almost release of
it's done.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah.
And I find that when that happens, when I really truly find that feeling of release, things just, so many synchronicities happen, and people come at the right time, and the right things just
everything aligns up
perfectly. Yeah, it's just that alignment. Everything just aligns and unfolds perfectly, and it's without me thinking about it. It just happens. It's without too much thinking and planning, and it just happens. And I love that. That is a nice, fun, light game to play.
Yeah, I tend to use. Sorry, I tend to use that process when I'm in a feeling of overwhelmment on the emotional scale. When I feel like I've got too much to do, and I've come to this place of like stagnation, or I just can't move forward because I feel this burden of too much to do. That's when I get this process out and draw the line and do it exactly as Ishara described it. And it's so great because, as you say, the relief of just letting things go, knowing that these things can be sorted out without my direct involvement. If I need to phone someone up or to arrange something, when I get through this process, I find that they end up phoning me and things like that. Whereas previously, when I felt there was too much to do, whenever I tried to phone them, I would get their answer phone and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's kind of related to the universal manager process. It's kind of feeling that you've got these non-physical team of helpers at your aid that you can just call on to do these things, and it's just a wonderful feeling to get into that alignment, get into that rhythm, as a result of finding that relief, not knowing that you don't have to sort absolutely everything out yourself.
Yeah. And it's right back to what you were saying before, Anthony, as well. You get that inspiration to act when you... Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. 2 hours has flown by. We're actually on the last 2 or 3 minutes. So, can I go around and just ask you for your final thought, your final message, what just a sentence or two about what you want people to take forward in their lives. So, starting with you, Nadira, just a sentence or something. Just.
I would say life is meant to be good. Just have fun with it. Enjoy it. See the good things that are there right in front of you. Appreciate.
Brilliant. Thank you. Anthony?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me on this, and I've really enjoyed it. And,
it's been a blast.
Yes. And I suppose my general intention is just to focus on things generally. It's just I found it so much easier. I suppose that's the thing that's really resonating with me at the moment, and I think, well, just by mentioning it, maybe it'll resonate with other people. So, I'm finding that really powerful. So, just get general. So,
Thank you. Ishara?
Thank you very much for inviting me as well. I'd like to share, literally, just feel happy and feel good is my sort of tagline for life itself. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It's just a matter of finding what makes you feel happy and feel good at any point in time. And as long as you continue doing that, you will find amazing, incredible things just coming straight to you without you even thinking about it. And just stay positive, stay happy, stay focused, and you'll see the magic happening in your life as well.
Exactly, and just to echo that, have fun, life is good, you are perfect, exactly as you are. Just to let you know, everyone, I've put in the chat room the processes that we've spoken about. Any links, if Nadira, Ishara, or Anthony, you have any links to your groups or coaching sessions or anything, then please feel free to pop it in the chat room for everyone to see. I hope to be doing another show of this kind very soon, and we'll have another psychic reading session with Siren in the week. Thank you, everyone, for taking part, for listening.
Thank you, Nick.
For everything.
Thank you.
Such a blast.
Thank you very much,
Nick. I think that's pretty much it. Keep posted. I've had the blast. And I'm just going to play the jingle now, and everyone have a lovely day, afternoon, or evening. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Psychic Training Ground, the most encouraging, supportive, uplifting place to be. We hope you've enjoyed the show and we'll see you soon. All is well. There is great love here for you.
Actually, I like it so much I'm going to play it again.
Thank you for listening to the Psychic Training Ground, the most encouraging, supportive, uplifting place to be. We hope you've enjoyed the show and we'll see you soon. All is well. There is great love here for you.